Hey guys, it's Tracy. Celiac Awareness Month day. I just typed it in. I'm trying to remember. I think it's day 27. Oh my gosh, it is a Memorial Day though. And so just a quick reminder, as you can see a little bit from my face, that whole plan of I didn't get any sun yesterday at the pool or Saturday at the pool. So I'm just going to wait a little bit. And when I go back out, I'll wait a little bit before I put the sunscreen on. Yeah, don't do that. I'm living proof. Whoops. Okay. So now I must suffer the consequences, even after I did a review of which sunscreens are good to use. So, anyway, I'm just going to be real with you here. It's Memorial Day. We're going to talk about the myths, lies, and the discreditable because this is something that comes up. And I'm also going to tell you, hey, I could have just postponed this so that I could take a shower and get cleaned up for you guys, but to me it was more important to go ahead and get this knocked out because I wanted to share this information with you and continue to uphold my commitment to you guys on the go live dailies for Celiac Awareness Month. So we are, I think, on day 27 here. But the myths, the lies, and the discreditable. So the myths, what kind of myths are out there? They all kind of feed hand in hand, and this has to do with the fact that I have seen so many people that have heard from others that they can actually have their celiac cured. There is research that is actually I Cure Celiac, and that is a research foundation where you can register research registration where you can put your information in, and that way you can actually get in the database for research that is going on. But any healthcare provider, sorry, apparently there's a mosquito out here on my back porch swing that I just finished cleaning off. Anyway, but there are some people out there that actually claim that they can cure celiac with their little, come see me, I'm the guru. First of all, it is so important when somebody wants to talk to you about celiac that you understand what is their credibility. So, and I forgot to go ahead and address that up here. So my name is Tracy, otherwise known as Healthy Happy Momsy. What is my background? What is my knowledge of celiac? So 10 years ago, I was in pharmaceutical sales. I did it for 17 years. And I was diagnosed with celiac as a result of my daughter getting constant ear infections and just trying to figure out what was going on with her. We realized she had a definite gluten intolerance. And then as we went gluten-free, actually, this was back when I was married, as we went gluten-free, I started reading more and more about it and actually realized that, wait a second, there's this thing called celiac. And so I went through the blood testing, I had the endoscopy done, I had genetic testing done. I was diagnosed, confirmed celiac, which explained a whole lot of my issues over the years with chronic constipation and with things like the celiac rash, a lot of just annoying skin sensitivities, migraines, things like that. I had a lot of comorbid stuff kind of going on. So anyway, I am certified as a health and wellness coach, and throughout the last 10 years of living with celiac myself, having a gluten-free household, having a daughter that we aren't sure if it's celiac, or my ex-husband and I just decided that we would assume it was because we didn't want to have to re-gluten her. In order to get tested, you actually have to you have to have gluten in your system for 6 to 8 weeks in order to see if your body actually produces the immunoglobulin response, the IgG, IgA levels, in order to officially know blood-wise if the person has that marker of inflammation. So anyway, but I've heard so many different people that want to claim that they can cure it, heal it, treat it. The only treatment for celiac is a gluten-free lifestyle. That's it. There are things that can heal your gut, but the majority of it is a matter of, over time, a gluten-free life. Things that can help that, I should say that there are things that can heal your gut. There are things that over time can help your gut heal, but they can't heal your gut completely. I think that's a better way to put it, sorry. And that's where I'm saying that there are people that just by having their words used a little bit wrong, it can actually make the world of difference as to what their intention is. I'm a huge advocate of probiotics, things like that. I think that a lot of people should use them because of the fact that there's, 80%, 70 to 80% of your immune system is actually in your gut. So if your gut is off track, then guess what? Your immune system is completely out of whack. Probiotics are fantastic. No, I'm not going to sit on here and peddle a certain brand. There are some amazing ones out there. Yes, one is through a company that I am partnered with, but there are several great probiotics out there. So anyway, some of the other things, there's actually, I've heard people talk about things like yeast infections, and that if you cure the yeast in somebody, then they're not going to have celiac anymore. Okay, here's the thing. Celiac has to do with, it's usually triggered by some sort of an autoimmune response, okay? So it is common to have something that happens that actually triggers the official celiac reaction. A person can have gluten ingestion over the years, but then it then develops into an issue where they cannot tolerate gluten, and the celiac actually comes to surface because the person already is predisposed to it as far as having the genetics for it. And then what happens is that their body actually produces the response with the inflammation, which is why you've got to have gluten in your system for a minimum of 6 weeks in order to actually get the immunoglobulin response to show that the person has celiac. So anyway, it can be a variety of things, but just because you take care of the thing that actually triggered that reaction, that doesn't stop the celiac. It would be amazing if it did. And like I said, I've seen some stuff lately that talks about the connection with yeast. And I will say one of the things with my daughter, with her multiple ear infections, with the multiple rounds of antibiotics, which actually I went through those because I had chronic sinus infections throughout high school, college, and my early adult years. And that was a matter of, when you're on the antibiotics, it can definitely produce a yeast infection. And that's what happened with me. That's what happened with my daughter. And but a yeast infection usually is a signal of a food intolerance. So if you're getting chronic yeast infections, pay attention to what's going on, what's triggering those. Now, if you stop taking those foods in, you will likely stop the yeast infections. However, and you can, because of the fact that if you've had chronic yeast infections, you can have the candida overgrowth in your system. It is important to get that taken care of. There are many healthcare providers, naturopaths that are credible that can actually work with you on that. But that's not going to stop the celiac. Maybe it helps with some of the symptoms, but it will not actually stop the celiac. And I think it's important for people to understand that, because a lot of the time there's traditional healthcare providers don't completely understand celiac. And so I see a lot of people in the community with celiac who go to naturopaths, who go to functional medicine doctors. I personally have shared regularly that the first person that I usually tend to go to whenever I have something going on, or if my daughter does, is I will tend to call my acupuncturist first and see if there's an herbal tincture that I can work through in order to get that taken care of. However, I did my research on my acupuncturist, who has extensive studies in herbology. I made sure that she knows what she's talking about. And when she actually had a partner join her, same thing. I made sure to look into what their background is. And you should always do that, whether you're talking about treating yourself or treating your child, or any loved one. You should make sure that the person who is treating something like celiac, that they have enough background or whatever that issue is that they're dealing with. So if you have an underlying issue that is what triggered the celiac to get out of control in your life, then yes, get the underlying issue taken care of. But know that you're still, if once your celiac has been triggered, it's there. It is not going away. Sticking your head in the sand will not make it any better. Going and paying thousands of dollars to a specialist because they have claimed and promised you that they can cure you of that is only going to fill their pockets. So please know who it is that you're going to. Pay attention to these things and know kind of what's going on. It's like the same thing of people who just don't believe that celiac actually exists. I would love to be able to, now I don't miss beer, I don't, but to be able to just have whatever pizza that I want, I would love that. When I went to Millie Mushroom with my boyfriend last weekend, when we were in Asheville, and I looked at his pizza and I looked at mine, and I had pizza envy. My pizza was okay. It wasn't bad. Pizza is pizza. I don't get super excited over pizza anymore. But I will say that I definitely had some pizza envy over his. And there are times that it would be so easy that, if I'm going to public events, where it would be nice if I could have that cure. And I hope and pray that, as I've seen recently, there's some legislation that's coming up where there's a push for more funding to go towards finding a cure for celiac. And that would be amazing. So there's a lot of information out there. Whenever you hear something, don't disregard it. Just find out what their source is, look into it, and then do your own searching. Now, Dr. Google and, oh my gosh, I should be able to think of the other one. But anyway, Dr. Google is kind of who a lot of my doctors would refer to. They would get frustrated because they would have patients that have something going on and they just go online and they Google it and they're like, oh, but I saw this on Google. Google did not go and get a medical degree, okay, or a naturopath degree or any of that other stuff. Now, you can find a lot of credible information on there, but look to see what type of source you're looking at. Are you looking at something that is a peer-reviewed journal? That is one of the biggest things. When you're looking up data, make sure that you're actually looking at a peer-reviewed journal. Some bloggers are credible. I try to tell you guys straight up exactly what my background is. I try not to practice outside of my scope. I'm a certified health and wellness coach. I can help people with lifestyle, exercise, attitude, nutrition. I can help people because I'm an entrepreneur with an amazing program that I use that I love. But I'm not going to try to practice outside of that. If you're dealing with something else and you're saying, hey, well, your nutrition system, is it something that other people with my same issue have used? I will go and see if there's somebody who has that same issue that you're going through and see how they did it. Did they have to do anything different? I'll find that out for you. I'm happy to. I love helping people. But I'm not going to practice outside of what I can do because that would completely discredit me. So I do believe in knowing what I'm talking about, and I hope that those are the people that you look to as well. I hope that you have an amazing day. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12:30, and we are finishing out our month of Celiac Awareness Month. Have a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you find this helpful, then please share it with others. If you have something that you want me to discuss, if there's a topic you want me to cover, please post it in the comments below. Have an amazing day. Thanks. Take care.